Little Miss Muffet, developing a story into a film. In this video, we will be making a traditional well-known classic children's tale into a short film that will relate to today's audience on many levels. So let's start and look at the tale. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider, who sat down beside her, and frightened Miss Muffet away. This, as you can see, is a simple story. So how then can we take these simple 6 lines with only 26 words and make it into a modern short film for today's audience? And who is our audience? This is something that needs to be considered before any other work can be done. After all, the film you would make for children will most likely differ from one that you would make for adults. Even if it is the same story, it might need to be told in a much different way. So for our film, let's say that our audience will be children between 10 to 15 years old, not that others might not enjoy it. However, this will just be our target audience. On with the story. Let's break it down a bit and see what we have. The story has a beginning, a middle and an end, and it is full of drama, action, and emotion. Using this basic story, we need to start forming this into something a bit more suitable for video. The breakdown. Little Miss Muffet. Not much to do with this line. We could change her name if we want, but let's just keep her as is. Sat on a tuffet. Now on this point, we have our first issue. What on earth is a tuffet? Even the spell checker did not recognize this thing she sat upon. According to Wikipedia, we find that a tuffet is a piece of furniture used as a footstool or low seat. It is completely covered in cloth so that no legs are visible. However, our audience won't take the time to find out or even really care about this obscure little seat. So for our film, we will simply use a stool or small chair. I think this will be fine. Eating her curds and whey. Oh no, here we go again. Curds and whey. According to Wikipedia, this is an old-fashioned name for cottage cheese. While some of our audience might enjoy sitting down to a bowl of cottage cheese, it is a fair bet that if our heroine was eating some ice cream we would connect with a larger audience. This brings up a very important point. When converting a story to another format such as a film or play, it is sometimes necessary to make changes in order for the story to fit the medium and the audience. This can be tricky, and doing so hastily can do more harm than good. If you know the author of the story, then work with them to make the changes. Or if you are the author, recognize the need to make changes. It is important to understand that sometimes even your most favorite detail or plot points may need modifying, or even sometimes deleted altogether so that the story can work on the film. It is just a fact of life that can't be avoided. So let's continue. Along came a spider, who sat down beside her. Okay, this is pretty straightforward and we will leave this for now. And frightened Miss Muffet away. The ending of the plot is a bit straight to the point. Not a bad ending, but I think we can do a little better. So at this point, we have this. Little Miss Muffet sat on a small stool, eating her ice cream. The spider comes along, sits down beside her, and frightens Miss Muffet away. Not much better and not as pretty, but it is a move in a promising direction. We need to set the stage and include details that will enhance our story so we can bring our audience along. We need to tell more about Miss Muffet. Describe why she is eating ice cream on this occasion. Set the setting where all this action takes place. So let's try this out. This is Little Miss Muffet's 5th birthday. Her mother makes her favorite homemade ice cream. Miss Muffet watches in anticipation as her mother works in the kitchen. Miss Muffet's mother smiles as she hands her a large bowl of the ice cream. Miss Muffet takes her ice cream and carefully carries it to her favorite place, her new playhouse built just for her by her father. As she sits and starts to eat her ice cream, unknowingly to her, the spider slowly lowers itself in front of her face. Just as she is about to take her second bite of this delicious delight, she looks out over her spoon to see the spider staring her in the eyes not 6 inches away. Frightened, she screams and drops her ice cream to the floor and runs out the door. Moments later, realizing what just happened, she returns to her playhouse, finding the ice cream bowl broken and all of her delicious birthday gift melting into the floorboards. She falls to her knees and begins to cry. So now we have expanded this classic story by filling in some of the details, to almost 300 words, and making it begin to sound like a real storyline. Did you notice we did something else as well? In the initial story, we find just two major emotions. Contentment, as she sets down on her tuffet. Fright, as she runs away from the spider. You might say we could have delight as she eats her curds and whey, however, there is nothing in the story that indicates she liked her curds and whey at all. Perhaps later she was delighted that she did not finish them. We clearly don't know. So this being the case, we can only truly identify two. However, in our new version of the story, we have added much more. Joy, she has just turned 5 and her mother is fixing her favorite ice cream. Love, of the mother for her child. And of the father for making her a wonderful playhouse. Independence, as she heads out by herself to her new home. Contentment, as she sits in her chair to eat. Startled, as she spots the spider. Fright, as she runs away. Awareness, as she recognizes what has just happened. Disappointment, when she sees the bowl of ice cream on the floor. Deep sadness, as she falls to her knees and cries. Now we have a story that our audience can start to relate to. At this point, you should be picturing the story in your head. So now is the time to start making your first storyboard. Don't worry. It does not and should not be elegant. In fact, it only needs to be the most basic of drawings scribbled down on a makeshift grid just so that you can start seeing possible camera shots and character placement. I made my first draft on a scrap of paper in about 2 minutes. My first storyboard is not very detailed. In fact, I'm really not sure just what all the marks were meant to be, but it captures the very basics of what I want to see. First draft of the script with camera directions. Now by using the outline above in our crazy little storyboard, we can start creating a more complete shot-by-shot visual script. Exterior, establishing shot 1, fade from title to exterior shot of a rural cottage with a white picket fence, slowly zooming into a medium shot of the closed kitchen window. Interior, establishing shot 2, interior wide shot of Norman Rockwell type kitchen, slowly zooming into a medium shot of mother mixing homemade ice cream in a bowl while Miss Muffet stares up at her, watching her every move. Cut to a higher close-up of mom mixing the ice cream with Muffet's head and eyes just peeking over the edge of the bowl from below. Cut to Muffet's POV, aka point of view, looking up at her mother. Her mother turns her head slightly and smiles down at her. Cut to medium shot from across the room as mother puts the mixing bowl down and reaches for a smaller bowl to serve the ice cream. Not just any bowl, but a nice decorative glass bowl. Cut to close-up of Muffet as she watches her mother serve up the ice cream with her eyes wide open and a smile of anticipation on her face. Cut to POV of mother as we see her hand in arm, handing the bowl to Muffet. Cut to POV of Muffet as she takes the bowl from mother. Cut to wide shot of the kitchen as Muffet turns and heads for the open back door with the bowl of ice cream held in both hands at head level. Interior to exterior, cut to medium of the back of Muffet walking out of the back door with her playhouse in view and follow Muffet. Exterior to interior, cut to playhouse door POV as Muffet walks towards the camera, aka door, with kitchen door in view. Her mother at the kitchen door silently watching Muffet walk away. Exterior, cut back to the following shot as Muffet enters her playhouse. Interior, cut to medium shot as Muffet sits on her chair and places ice cream bowl in her lap. Continue medium shot as Muffet takes her spoon and dips out a large scoop of ice cream. Cut close-up shot as Muffet brings the ice cream to her mouth and smiles as she feeds herself.
Yummy.
Cut to another angle medium shot as Muffet gets another scoop of ice cream. Cut to spider on a rafter as he begins to make its web. Cut to same close-up shot as 15 as once again Muffet brings the ice cream to her mouth and feeds herself. Cut to yet another angle medium for one more shot as Muffet gets another scoop of ice cream. Cut to same close-up shot as 15 as Muffet begins to take the ice cream into her mouth, except for this time the camera is focused about 6 to 8 inches in front of Muffet's face as we see the spider lower itself down on its thread. Quick rack focus back to Muffet just as she notices the spider. Maintain close-up shot as she screams and drops the full spoon from her hand. Cut to medium shot as she jumps up from her chair and runs for the door, as the ice cream falls to the ground. Shot in slow motion. Cut to medium shot of ice cream on the floor, lying on broken glass by the bowl, and melting in the sun shining through the door. Slow zoom, into the ice cream to the next shot as we hear Muffet screaming in the distance. Shot blocking with the ice cream low on the screen and the sun showing on the floor filling the frame. Stay on shot 26 as we see Muffet's shadow as she walks back to the door of the playhouse. Stay on shot 26 as we see Muffet fall on her knees in front of the ice cream with her hands on her face and she starts crying uncontrollably. Exterior, camera boom, moving up and out, we see Muffet's back as she kneels just inside the doorway. Muffet is crying louder than before. Exterior, from far above and away from house, zooming from house to wide shot of the sky and horizon, Muffet is crying even louder with a slight echo. From above, we see Mother running to Muffet. Fade to black. Final thoughts. This is a really good start. With a little polishing, this is ready to be made into a film or animation. Include a little music and sound effects and this could be the next big YouTube wonder. Now go out and transform your favorite short story into a film.